What's up guys, Bearded Jeeper here, and today we're talking about steering. Now I chose to go with Synergy steering for my steering setup, and I'm going to give you a few reasons why, so let's check it out. So I've had this Synergy steering under my Jeep for a couple years now, and it has held up phenomenal. I mean, this has been through me breaking an axle in half, and it's just got repeatedly slammed and smashed into every little rock when this was getting dragged out of the woods. And it's not bent, it's really stout, it's really strong. What I have in the Synergy steering is I have the tie rod, the drag link, and you can't really see it back there, but I have the track bar as well. I decided to go with the Synergy flip kit as well, which flips the drag link end on top of the knuckle versus below the knuckle. It keeps your steering a little bit more parallel. With doing that, you have to switch to the raised track bar bracket as well, and that just raises your track bar up so it keeps everything in line. Now, a lot of people think you have to have everything completely parallel, and that's not the case. What you actually have to have is, when your suspension travels, you want everything to travel in parallel. So I think I have it set up pretty well. Now what I did do is install these low misalignment dust boots here, and what that does is that tie rod flop you might have where your tie rod flips up and down, that completely eliminates that with these, and it just replaces your normal rubber boot here with, it's like a rubber, like piece of rubber bushing, and then you got the metal cap that goes on top. And as you can see, I'm trying to move this and I have absolutely no flop in the tie rod, and that actually tightened up my steering quite a bit. Now I really have put the steering to the test, bashing it off rocks. You can see all these little nicks and crevices, and that's the only really spot where it started to rust. Little spots where I've just taken off all the coating, those are really the only spots that have started to rust on this. One thing I need to replace though is this adjustment sleeve right here. This is on the drag link, that's for adjusting the steering wheel, and mine's just seized up, frozen up, but I was able to get a replacement. It's only like 20 bucks for a replacement. So I'm gonna take off this drag link end here and just spin this out and put a new one in. I'm gonna make sure to put a lot of never sees on it though, because up here where we are in the rust belt, you seem to pick up a lot of rust, especially on any little steering component. They put a ton of salt on the road, so I wasn't surprised when this kind of bound up, but I'm gonna try to put a crap ton of never sees on it, so on the new one, so it's not gonna happen again. I really like this steering setup. It feels amazing on the road. I have no death wobble, nothing at all, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not running a steering stabilizer at all. And the way my steering's set up, nice and parallel, I get no death wobble. I don't get any bump steer, nothing. This thing rides smooth. It's like a Cadillac going down the road, especially now that I got it all aligned perfectly and got sway bar end links again. One of my only real complaints is it's not necessarily a complaint, it's more like I should have gone with it. This is a bolt-on track bar bracket that lifts it up, but I kept having some movement in it when the tie rod, or when the track bar would push this back and forth. So I ended up having my buddy throw a couple welds on it, and it really holds it a lot more secure, holds it in place, so I don't have to worry about this moving. It was giving me a little bit of play in my track bar, and now that thing's solid, it's not going anywhere. Another thing I really like about this steering is all this steering setup has the double adjuster sleeves, so you don't have to take off the whole tie rod or drag link or anything to adjust it. You just have to loosen the bolt and turn this out, and you can adjust your steering, and you don't have to take off the tire, nothing. You can adjust it easily and get yourself so you have your alignment all set. I'm not gonna go through all the specs of what material it's made out of, and you can look that up for yourself. I'll leave a link below so you can check out the steering if you're interested. Well, let me tell you I really love this steering. It's held up, it's strong. I've never thought of needing to replace it because I've bashed it off tons of rocks. I don't baby this Jeep at all. The tie rod hasn't bent at all, the drag link's staying straight, everything is staying straight, working perfectly. So that goes to say something about the manufacturing and how well they designed the product to take a hit and keep on going. I see the Synergy guys out there all the time testing their rigs, and I know a lot of other people run the Synergy steering as well. The stock steering on a JK is a lot better than your TJs and XJs. They have really pencil thin steering components. The JK is a little bit beefier, but it still doesn't hold up to your bigger tires and abusing it off-road. The steering's held up well, it hasn't rusted out. I feel like this is a true test review. I've had it on for a while, so it's not just right out of the box and I go for a test drive and tell you how it is. I've actually had it on my Jeep for a while, been on the trails. So that's why I recommend this. I'm not trying to sell you anything that you don't need, but if you're looking to upgrade your steering, I'd highly recommend this. The only one downfall I would say is that adjuster sleeve rusting up a little bit, but I don't always wash my Jeep right away, so all the dirt and grime gets in there, and that could be why it's seized up as well. So whenever you're setting your steering up, I highly recommend putting some Never Seize on that. Just every now and then spritzing down with some WD-40 so it keeps it nice and lubricated in case you need to adjust the steering at all. But other than that, I really like this steering, and I don't think it has any issues whatsoever. I mean, no steering stabilizer, and this thing rides nice and smooth down the road. You really don't have to worry about a thing. This Synergy steering takes a hit and keeps on asking for more, so this season we're gonna give it some more rocks, try to abuse it a little bit more. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. As always guys, stay bearded, stay Jeepin'. I'm out.